welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box, episode 88. It's a Family Fantasy Football League Cup special. Yes, last weekend saw the last round of first round group stage matches. I'll be revealing the results of those games and the 16 managers who have made it through to the second round of the Family Fantasy Football League Cup in the new year. And what a week game week 12 was. Arden Diamonds' 7-week stay at the top of the table came to an end as debut manager Antonio Conte's Barmy Army stormed back to the top of the table where he was 7 weeks ago. Just two managers went into the transfer market this week. They're both in the bottom half of the table. And incredibly, at this penultimate week before the break for the World Cup, there are just 3 points separating the top 3 teams in the league. So in this week's Banter in the Box, we've got your game week 12 winners and losers. One manager of the season point for the game week 12 winners. One manager of the season point lost for the game week 12 losers. We've got Banter of the Week. As I said earlier, that FFFL Cup review and a manager of the season update. Who the fuck is that? Rolled over for a second week and was worth 3 manager of the season points. I'll be revealing whether any of the managers who guessed it this week got it right. But without further ado, the game week 12 winners take a bow. The big knobs manager Simon Hoxby climbed another place up to 14th in the table. You have to go back to the 3rd of September 2021 for the last time that the big knobs were as high as 14th in the table. Take a bow. Sash Hammers FC manager Wayne Robinson, he climbed a place up to 9th in the table. You have to go back to the 17th of December 2021 for the last time that Wayne was as high as 9th in the table. Take a bow also, Foxborough Foxes manager Charlotte Williams. She was the biggest climbers in game week 12, up 3 places to 5th. And that's the highest position Charlotte's been since game week 6. But the biggest game week 12 winner, take a bow. Poppy's players manager Sarah Simons. She stayed 3rd in the table but closed the gap on the 2 above her with a first weekly win of the season, 57 points. It was a fairly low scoring week, even though we had a lot of Premier League teams having 2 games this week with the League Cup taking place in midweek. It was a fairly low scoring week. Sarah Simons taking the weekly win with 57 points. 1 manager of the season point to those 4. And the game week 12 losers, hide your head in shame. Greece Lightning's Alexi Lagos fell another 2 places, now back down to 15th in the table. Game week 3 was the last time that Alexi was as low as 15th. Hide your head in shame. Coldplay United manager Martin Maloney fell another 2 places, down to 25th. And you have to go back to the 25th of March for the last time that Martin was as low as 25th in the table. Hide your head in shame as well. Defending champion Hatch United, the biggest fallers in game week 12, down 3 places to 22nd. You have to go back to game week 5 for the last time Neil was as low as 22nd. But the biggest game week 12 losers, well, it's yours truly. Down 2 places to 18th. I was the lowest scorers in game week 12 with a paltry 22 points. Where they had them, 1 manager of the season point lost for those guys. Now, Banter of the Week. Good week for banter content on the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group. Honourable mention to the banter queen, Sarah Simons, who I thought had a terrific piece of banter with taking a pop at Sash Hammers FC, who she was facing in the cup after he saw Cancelo sent off. But based on the most likes its debut manager Niall Ponsford with this meme. A mixed bag for the Bantonio Contes. Tottenham losing 2-1, but having Salah as captain. Indeed, it was enough to send him back to the top of the table, as I mentioned earlier. And great to see that family fantasy football is more important than your lifelong loyalty to your club. One manager of the season point to Niall for that meme. Keep the banter coming on the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group, because we absolutely love it. Now, your FFFL Cup first round group stage review. Group A. The final game saw Poppy's players unsurprisingly thrashing Never the Boys 40 points to 16, and Arden Diamonds unsurprisingly beating lowly Pez United 23-10, which means that Poppy's players go through as group winners and Arden Diamonds go through as the group runners-up. Never the Boys and Pez United unsurprisingly crashing out of the cup at the group stage. Group B, Dial Square FC debut manager just pipped Juan Veron FC 27-26, and I've got a live thrash Legends 23 41-25, which meant I've got a life leapfrog Legends 23 to go through as group winners, but Legends 23 still qualified. Heartbreak for Juan Veron FC. If they'd just got 2 more points, they would have gone through instead of Legends 23, because they had a better points difference, as you can see there. But just the 1 win for Juan Veron FC sees last season's cup finalists out, and it means we already knew that Hatch United were eliminated, so both the finalists in last year's Family Fantasy Football League Cup have gone out in the group stage. Group C, Thames Ironworks FC were playing a dead rubber against Ted and Sam Juniors, both teams already eliminated 33-29, and the battle for the top spot went to Foxborough Foxes, beating Abs FC 33-25. So Foxborough Foxes progress with maximum points, just like Sarah Simons. Debut manager Abs FC are into the second round, though, as group runners-up. Group D saw Ostrich Bar Steward sticking it to his own wife 32-21, and unsurprisingly better than the Diamonds annihilated bottom of the table Norfolk and Chance FC 39-14, which meant Ostrich Bar Steward's eliminated his own wife from the competition, and he goes through with maximum points, better than the Diamonds qualify as group runners-up. Group E saw Hatch United finally win a game in the cup. They beat Greece Lightning 24-17, and Bantonio Conte's Barmy Army were in a shootout for the other qualification place. They thrashed Sweet Foden Line FC in that shootout 37-16. Greece Lightning doing enough on points difference to go through as group winners, but Antonio Conte's Barmy Army debut manager qualifying Sweet Foden Line FC end up finishing bottom of the group. They needed to beat Antonio Conte's Barmy Army to qualify. Hit a bad patch of form at the worst stage of the season there, Tyler. Group F saw Gobi Desert Canoe Club beat Coldplay United 31-20, and Napoli just pipped Linden's Lovelies by a point, 26-25. But it was heartbreak for Napoli, because Gobi Desert Canoe Club, Coldplay United and Napoli all finished on 6 points. Gobi Desert Canoe Club going through comfortably as group winners. Coldplay United edging out Napoli on points difference. Coldplay United plus 11, Napoli plus 10. They missed out on 1 point. They'd only beaten Linden's Lovelies 27-25, or had Gobi Desert Canoe Club score 32 points against Coldplay United, Napoli would have gone through, but they're out by the narrowest of margins. Group G saw the Big Knobs beat Partner on the Buses 32-24. Sarah finally loses one of her cup matches And Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain pulled off a bit of a shot, beating Sash Hammers FC 43-27. And that meant 3 teams on 6 points in this group as well. No, it doesn't. Sorry. It would have been 6 points. 3 teams on 6 points. On the buses, going through as group winners over the Big Knobs manager Simon Hoxby, who goes through as runners-up. If Sash Hammers FC had not suffered that shock defeat to Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain, they would have progressed. But Megan done her uncle Simon a favour by beating Sash Hammers FC, so it's the Big Knobs that go through with on the buses in Group G. And in Group H, we already knew Benny United had qualified. It was a shootout between the Mad Hatter and Chairman's Choice. And, well, Cancelo getting sent off did me no favours, but I probably would have lost anyway. Absolutely thrashed by the Mad Hatter, 38-7. And Benny United took his eye off the ball. He'd already qualified. He surprisingly lost to lowly Clockhouse Rangers, 24-22. All of which meant the Mad Hatter leapfrogs Benny United to take top spot in Group H. Benny United had already qualified and they're through as runners-up. And Chairman's Choice don't finish... Clockhouse Rangers don't finish bottom of the group. They overtook Chairman's Choice, who finished bottom of the heap in Group H. So, these are your Family Fantasy Football League Cup second round qualifiers. In pot 1 are all of the group winners. High-flying Poppies players. Mid-table, I've got a life. High-flying Foxborough Foxes. High-flying Ostrich Bar Stewards. On the slide, the Grease Lightning. On the up, Gobi Desert Canoe Club. The lowest placed team still in the cup on the buses, just above the relegation zone, but into the second round. And on the up, the Mad Hatter. They're all through as group winners. And in pot 2 are the runners-up. Number 1 rated manager, Arden Diamonds. Mid-table Legends 23. Debut manager, Abs FC. High-flying Better Than the Diamonds. High-flying debut manager, Bantonio Conte's Barmy Army. The struggling Coldplay United are a surprise package in the second round. On the up, the Big Knobs and Benny United, FFFL veteran. The first ever win. No, he wasn't the first ever winner of the Family Fantasy Football League Cup. That was Thames Ironworks FC. What am I talking about? On the subject of Thames Ironworks FC, they're out. Big team to go out. Top of the table, Sweet Foden Line FC have gone. Top of the table, Sash Hammers FC, they're out. 3 times winner Chairman's Choice, no longer in the competition. So keep your eye out for the second round draw for the Family Fantasy Football League Cup, which will take place at some point over the next few weeks. And the only restrictions in the second round draw is that you cannot be drawn against a team that you you played against in the first round group stage, and all of the group winners will be in one pot, so they can't be drawn together, and all of the runners up are in a second pot, so they can't be drawn together. That draw will take place soon, and the second round, and it's now knockout, the second round will take place in the first full Premier fixture weekend in February. So those 16 managers can rest for a while knowing that they've got cup football in the latter half of the season. Who the fuck is that? It was now worth 3 manager of the season points, and 4 managers had a guess, and they all went for different managers. Benny United manager Mark Benwell thought that that was a picture of On the Buses manager Sarah Goodwin. That's an incorrect answer, Mark. On the Buses manager Sarah Goodwin thought that that was a picture of No Fucking Chance FC's Angela Addis. That's an incorrect answer, Sarah. On the Buses, no, I've already done that. The Big Knobs manager Simon Hoxby thought that that was a picture of No Happy Endings manager Di Maloney. Incorrect answer, bruv. And finally, Hatch United manager Neil Hatch, just by the skin of his teeth, got his guess in before we started recording this, and he thought that it was a picture of Poppy's players manager Sarah Simons. I can reveal that was an incorrect answer, Neil. So we're rolling this over again. It's going over to next week, and it's going to be worth 4 manager of the season points. But here is the top half of the manager of the season table. Remember, the manager of the season earns £15 million of free tactical gambits to be used next season, and Simon Hoxby has stretched his lead at the top to 2 points for being a game week 12 winner. Alexi Lagos dropping down to joint 4 for being a game week 12 loser. Yours truly going down to joint 8 for being a game week 12 loser. Hatch United drops down to joint 13 for being a game week 12 loser, and is joined by Poppy's player Sarah Simons, who climbs to joint 13th for being a game week 12 winner. Debut manager Niall Ponsford into the top half of the table for being a game week 12 winner. But that could all change next week, because who the fuck is that is worth 4 manager of the season points. A current Family Fantasy Football League manager pictured there. Can you tell me which Family Fantasy Football League manager it is? 1 guess per week per manager. So I'll take your first answer if you send in multiple guesses, because you're only allowed 1 guess per week. But that's it for this week's Banter in the Box. Join me next week for the last Banter in the Box before the World Cup starts, and it'll be the last Banter in the Box this year because of the World Cup. The Premier League doesn't resume until after Christmas. So make sure you tune in next week to get your Banter in the Box fix, because it'll be your last one for a while. But until then, take care everyone. Bye bye.